Instagram's always changing. I feel like you're on top of the algorithm and things like that too. So it's like today is April 28th. Okay. What are some things that people should be doing on the socials? Maybe the stuff that's been working as of late. Like it's always changing. It's a changing landscape all the time. So what are some things like today that people should be doing? Is it pictures again?
Stories.
Is it still reels? Stories.
Stories.
Ooh, okay.
Like last summer, we were renovating a cottage. So Josh was busier with that. He posted stories almost every day though. He maybe posted in feed like 7 times over 3 months, which is definitely not a lot.
It was like the easiest way for me to stay consistent.
Yeah, for sure. It is very easy.
Yeah.
It's true.
And he still got the same leads. We would run into people. They knew exactly what was going on. They were still seeing everything. If we surveyed an audience, I think they would say, oh, Josh posts once a week on feed, right? Because they felt so intimately involved. Stories is huge. It's also a more, like a warmer space. I think it's more natural to reply to a story and then all of a sudden you're having a one-to-one conversation.
Very true.
I think comment culture has changed a lot. Like we comment on these viral things. I don't think people comment the same way. So people post to feed and it can just kind of feel like naked and afraid, like no one's there reciprocating. So we say there's kind of like heat zones. And so feed's like a lot colder than people think.
Yeah.
And then stories is really a warm spot. And then that gets you into the DMs. We do a lot of using features like the polls. Are you buying this year? Instead of yes, no, do yep or 2 to 3 years for me. Great. Put all of those people in your CRM. You don't need their email to be in CRM, right? You can use their usernames. Now you have a whole lead list of people who said they're buying next year or they're up for.
It's true about the usernames.
Yeah.
So we started doing that this year. She actually mentioned it earlier because I'm like, oh, there's a person who just reached out recently on my stories, and I was looking at our messages, and I'm like, oh, she messaged me in 2020 about real estate, and now she's messaging me again, but I forgot about that person.
Yes,
right. But
true.
then she's like, yeah, you should just write that person down.
Yeah.
Right. So we've been doing that, and it's been good.
Yeah, adjusting your systems. And then I think like original content is the other big one. I think like trends can come and go and they can serve their purpose. But I think when you lean too hard in the trends, everyone's doing the same thing and then people are so numb to it. So just looking at like, okay, what's a skill set I have and how do I bring that to the table? An example being a lot of my content lately is B-roll, which is like extra footage of someone doing something like typing, drinking, whatever. I have so much footage of my life because we've been online for so long, right?
Yeah.
So some people will see my content and I'll do a voiceover with that and it's a minute. I can edit that in like less than 30 minutes. Like that could be 8 hours for someone else.
Yes, me.
And, yes.
Yeah,
and
that's me.
I don't have to film anything. Like I might film like half of a second of a clip because I have it all. But people don't see that. They just go, that's working. So I'm going to do it. And now they're spending 16 hours making a voiceover edit. They don't know how to do a voiceover. Like that's my journalism school background kicking in, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where you have to look at your strengths, but figure out what's a way to do original content that will feel different. We're seeing a lot of the high produced with the yellow captions coming on screen, which I think worked really well for a moment, but then it's like everyone took it. So you kind of have to pay attention to those things.
Style?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can work, right? Certain industries it's still working. Certain industries it gets oversaturated and you just have to pay attention to that and say, okay, what am I going to do? And that's how you'll stand out differently too.
For sure. What do you think about photos? Still photos.
Carousels.
Carousels. Crushing it?
Yeah, like I would say never do just a static post being like a single photo. Every photo can be a carousel.
Yes.
And there's so many different opportunities with that, whether it's multiple photos of your personal trip, right? It's a great way to get more personal and like jam pack it. If you could have you and your girlfriend, you snowboarding, your dog, all in one.
Definitely.
Or I love doing like, I always think about what people will save or share. Yeah, save or like send to a friend or share in stories. Those are huge metrics right now. Like some of my videos have like 140,000 saves.
Wow.
And that's what keeps them going to the like 2 million plus. But thinking about your content that way, I think people go like, oh, how will this look in feed? And it's like, is this a piece of content that I would either share with somebody or save? That will drastically change it. Like we do the same thing with Sayer. We might have a post we want to do. Let's say Josh was speaking at the Remax conference. We could do one photo that says Josh speaking. Instead, we turn it into a carousel and we put some of his stats of why somebody might even want to hire him. It's like, hey, this is why he's speaking at this thing, right? Here's his stats. It's always an opportunity to like one up it.
It's also
Definitely.
kind of like YouTube view time, right? So I'm
Yes.
sure Instagram has some sort of algorithm with how long you stay on a post.
Yeah.
So if it's just one photo, you could quickly swipe through, right? But if you have 10 photos and someone is swiping through all 10
Yeah.
photos, they'll stay on that post longer. I'm sure Instagram likes that, so they'll push your content more.
True.
it's remembering Instagram as a business and they
Yes.
want people to stay on the platform. So that's a huge part of carousels is you are keeping that person on the platform longer.
Yeah, this is all amazing tips.
Yeah.
One that stood out that you did was you're on the treadmill.
Yes.
Oh my
It
god.
was just repeat. It was like
It's just
a B-roll of a treadmill.
B-roll
So
of a
you
treadmill.
You had a lot of information. People had to read it.
Yeah.
So
It's
they
like a
just
3-second video and
Repeated.
Yes.
So there's a funny story behind that.
Okay.
Backstory. I wanted to get back into like fitness training, so I wanted to like record my things. And I told Mal, I'm like, okay, let's go in the morning. There's nobody working out. I want you to get like a video of me running on a treadmill. She gets the video and it was done. And I'm like, there's no one here. Do you want a video too? She's like, I guess why not? She got a quick video.
I guess why not?
Yeah, I
eh?
guess why
Look
not?
at
She got a
that.
quick video, and then I don't know, a couple of days later, she's like, "Oh, I could use this as a B-roll for whatever this
Yeah.
my content was," and that blew up. Like that really helped her, like
Mm-hmm.
skyrocket where your followers are now, and it's just one video away. Like it just kind of happened, you know? Like you never know.
Yeah, and you just have to play with those styles. Like I actually don't generally lean towards like the shorter videos. I just find like for me they don't work as well, but then the ones that hit, they hit
Yeah,
hard, you
hard,
know?
yeah.
So it's like to make a 3-second video and risk it. And I think enough people don't play. They're just always worried about like how is this going to perform, or if it doesn't do well, they're like, I'm never making a video again. I'm like, if it doesn't do well, I'm like, cool. What was it specifically about this? Okay, I'm going to tweak one thing and I'm going to try it again. You know, it might be the timing of the words on screen. It might need to be a little longer. And I think letting your content stay and see how it does. I had one, this is a concept someone can steal too, short video. It says like reasons why your motivation is low. And then it's all in the caption.
The
So
read
same
caption,
thing. It's
yeah.
like you have to read the caption. So
Yes.
people are there for like 10 minutes reading this really in-depth thing.
Yeah.
Even though the video barely said anything. At first, I saw it, the idea of putting more in the caption elsewhere. I tried it. It did okay. And then after it started picking up and then
Yeah.
it kept picking up. So
Yes.
if I had deleted it being like, oh, this was a bad idea, I wouldn't have got that information.
And that's a key thing to point out because a lot of people will look at the 24 hours.
yeah.
It's like, shit, how am I only at like 2,000 views?
Yeah.
And then like I just had a video with Price to Sell because I do those field trips.
Mm-hmm.
And got like 4K, whatever, which
Yeah.
is pretty like low. I looked at it, I'm like, whatever, it didn't perform. A day later, 21,000
Yeah.
and 23, right? So it's like,
That's a big
things just
difference for
pick-
Instagram this year too. They've definitely changed something that it's more like TikTok.
yes.
Because TikTok has always been that way.
They
that
did
old
change
ones
something.
Yeah, that's what's helped a lot this year is like making those good quality videos, believing in them, leaving them up, and
Yeah.
they will like get picked up.
Yeah, I think that's clutch for people to listen to.